The ubiquitous bolter, the Emperor's Wrath made manifest, the signature weapon of Imperial factions and their dark mirrors, the Space Marines, the Custodians, and many others. But did the Emperor create this weapon, as so many legends or people might claim? Let's talk about that. In Warhammer 40,000, you can't think of a more iconic weapon than the Boltgun. The Boltgun is basically a self-propelled missile-like device. The shells themselves have micro-rocket engines and engage the target at subsonic speeds or supersonic speeds, depending on the round itself. They are, in layman's terms or basic terms, a shotgun with RPG elements, and that's the best way of describing them. They don't have like guidance things on the actual rounds because that would be a profane intelligence, I believe, but they do have some specialist rounds, and we can come to those at a different time if people are interested. This is a question and hopefully an answer video. Did the Emperor create the Boltgun, as so many claim? I'm going to say no, and we have several reasons behind that. Many use the Boltgun because of the Emperor's connection with it. The Holy Bolter, the Flamer and the Melter Gun are seen as a holy trilogy of the Emperor's Wrath and Fury made manifest. The Sisters of Battle or the Adeptus Sororitas indeed keep this trinity very sacred, and it's very rare for them to have weapons beyond those three. Recently, we have had a picture of the Votann weapons, and one of them, or many of them, is a bolt gun or a bolt weapon. Bolt rounds are really unusual, and there are many of them, but we won't go into that just now. We want to talk about the Autarch pattern bolter. And when does this date from? You see, the Emperor has been around for thousands or tens of thousands of years. He is perhaps the oldest living individual in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. He probably even in some ways predates or the Chaos Gods themselves, the first one being Khorne to arrive sometime around Genghis Khan's period. Some believe that one of his premier bloodthirsters was one of the Khans of Mongolia, actually promoted to a greater demon. When we look at the Autarch pattern bolter, the bolt shotgun and the bolt revolver, we need to look at some real world examples for a second. The only weapons that I could find, like shotgun revolvers, were either made by Russia or made by Brazilian like gangs, and I put a few images up here. They are really improvised weapons, so there's not many of them around, so the sources for them have been very hard for me to find, especially the pump action one, which we see with the bolt shotgun. You see, the Emperor, for all his wisdom, for all his power, for all his hubris, he is an individual that needs to be lifted up by others, and a lot of people seem to forget this. You see, the bolt gun or something very similar was around in Old Knight, or perhaps even before. You see, the Votann predate Old Knight probably by maybe tens of thousands of years, and that's important. They have bolt weapons. Why do they have bolt weapons when they were invented by the Emperor much later, or supposed? Now, if we go by Old Knight, or when the Emperor was trying to reconquer Earth during the Techno-Barbarian Wars, they were using bolt guns, and so was his forces. His Thunder Warriors, his Custodes, his warriors, that he created, were using a bolt weapon. But if you believe Imperial dogma, he created this weapon for them. It didn't exist before then. But then again, we have records of them having power armor, we have records of them having bolt similar weapons, and now we have the Votann weapons schematical pictures showing bolt weapons. The Emperor is not as powerful and not as wise as people may think. He is someone who steals and acquires from others. In some ways, he is as lazy in innovation as the tech priests of Mars. And that's important. And that's perhaps why people of Mars and the Adeptus Mechanicus see him as a Messiah made manifest. He is simply retrieving old technology and repurposing it for himself. His Webway project was to steal the old ones and the Eldar's Webway. The bolt gun is not his. It is many others, the Dark Brothers of the Space Marines, the Custodes, many Imperial factions, and now the Votann. I'd like to see where this would go, and if we will get some reasoning behind this. Maybe they adopted the Boltgun after meeting the Emperor, but I highly doubt it. The Votann, or these machines that create their weapons, seem to have been functioning for a very, very long time. Perhaps even before the Techno-Barbarian Wars. Perhaps even before Earth became a ruin of boiled seas and death that the Emperor reclaimed. I hope that you enjoyed that video. If you would like me to go actually into the mechanisms and the types of bolt round and the types of bolt gun, please let me know. I just wanted to do this video because it kind of struck me as something it really struck me because I'd never seen anything like this before. And with the new Votann stuff, it raises lots of questions about the Emperor and his hubris, in my opinion anyway. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of the Imperium. I'm not the biggest fan of Imperial factions. Long ago I did have an Adeptus Sororitas army, long ago, back in 98, 99. But when they came out again, I felt, I don't know, it didn't grip me as much as it originally did for some reason. I don't know why, but there we go. Thank you all for watching. I've been Trix, and you've been all of you, and that's just been a little conversation about the Boltgun and the Emperor. Thank you, and bye bye.